Last night, the President of the United States outlined an agenda to strengthen the middle class and expand our economic progress. And he outlined an agenda that will restore the core values that make this nation great: fairness. Senate Democrats stand ready to work with the President to make this vision a vision in which every American shares the prosperity as well as the responsibility a reality. President Obama's agenda calls for common sense investments in our future, investments that will breathe new life into our struggling middle class, investments that will make America a magnet for jobs and manufacturing once more, investments that have been deferred for far too long because of the worst recession since the Great Depression. The President's plan will give American manufacturers the support they need to thrive while ending giveaways to companies that ship jobs overseas. His plan will create jobs today, building world-class roadways, railways, bridges that our economy can rely on tomorrow. The plan will prepare current and future workers to compete in a global economy by making K-12 schools the best in the world once again, and college affordable for every graduate. His plan will break our addiction to foreign oil and encourage investments in renewable energy, a change that will be good for the environment and for the economy. And as he said last night, it will be done without adding any money to the deficit, not a single penny. As he said, a dime. These investments in a strong middle class are not just right for our country, they're right for our economy as well. But our efforts to restore prosperity will mean little unless Congress acts immediately to deal with arbitrary across-the-board spending cuts set to take effect next month. If the looming sequester strikes, 70,000 young children would be kicked off Head Start, 10,000 teacher jobs will be at risk, and the Small Business Administration will be forced to reduce loan guarantees to small businesses by up to $540 million. Democrats believe we should replace this harsh austerity with a balanced approach that targets wasteful spending and tax loopholes and ask the wealthiest among us to contribute a little more to reduce the deficit. The American people know that we can't cut our way to prosperity. They agree. We can't ask the middle class to bear the burden of the entire deficit reduction. Later this week, Democrats will introduce a plan to avert the so-called sequester. Republicans say they agree the deep cuts they voted for would be damaging to our economy and to national security. But Republicans would rather cut Medicare, education, and medical research than close a single wasteful tax loophole or ask a single millionaire to contribute a little more. The Republicans should stop protecting millionaires, billionaires, and wealthy corporations and start working with us to pass an alternative to these terrible cuts that we want to do something to start changing this so we protect the middle class. We must not jeopardize the progress of the last 4 years. Even though our work to restore economic prosperity must continue, we should take pride in the 35 months of private sector job growth, 6.1 million new American jobs. Imagine how many more jobs we could have created with just a little cooperation from our Republican colleagues. But now our friends across the aisle have another opportunity to engage constructively. They have a second chance to work with Democrats to rebuild the middle class by investing in things that in the past have made America strong: world-class roads, bridges, dams, peerless schools, industrial factories that are beyond the best in the world, and creative entrepreneurs. President Ronald Reagan, in his first address to the joint session of Congress, spoke of these building blocks of prosperity. This is what Ronald Reagan said, quote, "The substance and prosperity of our nation is built by wages, brought home from the factories and the mills, the farms, and the shops. They're the services provided in 10,000 corners of America, the interest of the thrift in our people, and the returns for their risk-taking. The production of America is the possession of those who build, serve, create, and produce." He didn't say the substance of our nation is built on profits gleaned from shipping jobs overseas. He didn't say the prosperity of America is the possession of investment banks or wealthy oil companies. But rather, he said our substance and prosperity are earned in factories and mills and farms and shops. And the rewards belong to all those who build, serve, create, and produce. Not only the few strong enough and rich enough take for themselves. It's time to return to those roots. It's time to remember that fairness is not just a principle which to strive, but a powerful engine of growth and prosperity for all America.